So I have one kettlebell in rack position and the other in suitcase deadlift position. My forearms have to work a lot harder while farmer walking with the weight. Also, since there's in doing medicine ball slams, your goal should be to break the floor. And I don't. Hello, all at the gym today. Today, my plan is to do full body circuits, kind of with a high intensity. I do groups of movements usually anyway, but on most days, I take longer rest periods between sets. Today, I'm going to try and keep those rest periods low. So I'd say usually my rest periods are around a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Today I'm going to try and restrict it to around 30 to 45 seconds. And also throw in movements where like the weight itself is kind of light, but I can like do a lot of reps to keep the heart rate going. So for example, the sled is something that gets the heart rate going. Then I'll do something with the kettlebells that'll keep it high, and then I'll do something really light with like a medicine ball or something, or whatever the tool might be to keep that heart rate going a little bit more. Then take 30 to 45 seconds in between sets to kind of let it like come to some form of stability, but then go back into the circuit again. And as a result, hopefully, I'm able to keep my heart rate at around like around at least 140 and 140 to 150 range. I don't mind if it's higher. Actually, 140 and above, not 140 to 150. And as long as I'm like kind of there, that's where I want to be. In any case, starting off with reverse sled and forward sled push. The reverse sled and forward sled, and just pretty much any sled movement in general, uh, forces the whole body to work as a unit, and also uh, like you're able to go reasonably heavy on the sled, so there's a lot of volume that builds up as a result of doing a lot of sets of sled movement. And then you can play around with how fast you're pushing it back to further make things harder. So after sled push and or reverse sled and sled push, doing a suitcase, kettlebell suitcase deadlift and shoulder press combo. So I have one kettlebell in rack position and the other in suitcase deadlift position, and I'm going to go for 6 reps on each side. Switching sides. So I'm pressing with the 35-pound kettlebell, and I'm deadlifting a 62-pound kettlebell. This move is quite taxing on the core. Then immediately after that, using a 10-pound medicine ball to do oblique twist for 12 on each side. So yeah, my heart rate and sometimes the Apple Watch malfunctions. Whatever, it's not giving me a correct reading right now, but I'm guessing it's around 140. because that's the way I feel right now. Yeah, 149. So yeah, taking 30 seconds and back to it. This is what I'm doing for now for 4 sets, then on to the next thing. So for the next set of movements, I have the belt attached to the sled, and instead of doing reverse, I'm going to face forward and drag it forward. One of the things that I noticed with dragging the sled forward while attached to a belt is that you're able to like kind of move from the balls of your feet. Like my toes feel super engaged while doing the movement this way. Once I'm at the end, I'm going to wrap the TRX around so that it doesn't come in the way, and then lean back and push the sled back, but in reverse. So having to sit in a half squat while pushing the sled back is quite the burner on the quads. Ah, damn it. Oh well, I wasn't moving back in a straight line, but that it is what it is. After getting back, I have a towel attached on each of the 28 kilogram, 68 pound kettlebells. This makes my forearms have to work a lot harder while farmer walking with the weight. Also, since there's some slack on the towels, the weight sways around just a little bit, forcing an extra amount of activation from the core, the traps, the forearms, and the shoulders. Then I have a 35-pound medicine ball, and I'm going to squat down, throw it over my left shoulder, then squat down, throw it over my right shoulder. Going to repeat this for 6 times on each side. So, because the ball is on the floor, I have to get into a really deep squat in order to pick it up. And also, since I'm throwing it over one shoulder, the core is activated during the entirety of the movement. And the arms are quite involved in the movement as well. Then I have a 25-pound kettlebell. For the 25-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do lateral hand-to-hand swings for 12 on each side. Using a 25-pound kettlebell for this. After 12, I'm going to do 6 alternating halos. So that means 6 on each side. So yeah, quite a few movements in this one, but something that I'm able to repeat fast. Doing 4 sets of this. Again, low break, and then on to the next. Decided to finish off with something rather long and grueling. So, doing sled rows with both hands one way to start. So, I've mentioned this cue before, where I squat down and row at the same time. So I start with a squat, then row and stand up at the same time. That creates a more explosive movement, and they're able to generate more power while moving the sled. As you can notice, there is a rope attached to the sled, which will become relevant here in a bit. So after dragging it one way, walking back to the start. And so now the rope is fully extended, and now hopefully it's apparent on camera, but I'm going to pull the sled back with the rope. This movement is really strenuous on the back, so utilizing the back and legs quite a bit, going one way, and then the rope pull of the sled is almost exclusively the back. And it's more unilateral in nature because there is, or the primary arm that's pulling the sled switches on each rep. Then with the 28 kilogram kettlebell, going to do 4 alternate swings on each side, tactical cleans on each side. So looks like this. Then tactical clean. After the tactical cleans, doing kneeling medicine ball slams with a 35-pound medicine ball to finish off. So, in doing medicine ball slams, your goal should be to break the floor. And I don't mean that literally, but you want to throw it with full force onto the floor instead of just picking it up and dropping it. At least in this gym, I've seen quite a few people just pick it up and drop it on the floor. Instead, the goal is to work the explosiveness in the shoulders, arms, serratus, back. And you're going to accomplish that only by throwing the ball onto the floor with full explosiveness. So yeah, that was my final set of this. Going to sit in the sauna now. Probably will record an outro after this. Oh. So decided to do an outro. Well, usually by outro I mean a posing session. It's a way to kind of keep me accountable and not get too fat, but also keep track of my gains. Not looking too shabby. That pose makes my back look really good. So sometimes in my videos I talk about how kettlebells, if you go through the full range of motion, targets the upper chest. So if you guys follow my workouts, I don't do as many chest presses as most people do, but I have a well-developed chest still, and I think a lot of it comes from doing kettlebell presses. And for not doing a whole lot of bicep curls and tricep pushdowns and stuff like that, like I do them, but not as much as what bodybuilders do. I have pretty well developed arms. So yeah, that's all for today's video. See you all tomorrow.